So I was able to overcome my addiction with alcohol. And in this video, my goal and my aim is for you to do the same. And if you were scrolling on YouTube looking for a video on this topic, number one, I want to applaud you because that's the first step, is seeking help. And number two, I want to let you know that there is hope for you. So you are not alone. There's a lot of people out here that's dealing with this, and you can overcome it. You can overcome it. So I know when we use the word alcohol addiction or alcoholic, we are talking about having a craving for alcohol, because that's pretty much what that means. It's just meaning having a craving for alcohol. So when we say alcoholic, I know we may think about like a homeless man with a bottle on the side of a street or something like that. Or we may think about a person that's drinking so much that they're losing their families and losing their homes and stuff like that. That's the worst that could possibly happen. But on the flip side of that, we also have people that take care of their families, go to work like they're supposed to and everything else, but they're having drinks consistently almost each and every day, like one or two drinks each and every day. And that is what we call a functioning alcoholic. And I feel like I fell within that category. I do. And as for me, I'm 42 years old, about to be 43 in a couple months, and I look back over my life and see how alcohol has played a part in it. And I see that it has done a lot, a lot of damage over the years. And I decided to talk about that in this video, so let's talk about it. So my story with alcohol is like most people's story with alcohol, You watch it as a kid into your teenage years, and you see adults and you see your family members having a good time drinking this liquid substance. And every time they drink it, they seem to have more fun as they drink. So, like most teenagers that grow up seeing this, you say to yourself, I can't wait to drink when I'm 21. So that's what I did. When I turned 21, I started drinking, and I didn't look back, not at all. I went in, and I had a good time. Ain't gonna lie to you, had a good time drinking. And I had some friends with me, we would go out every weekend. We'll go to the club and stuff. So, you go to the club, you're gonna be drinking. So we wound up going to the club every weekend. So it wasn't a question of, are we gonna go to the club? The question was, which club we going to? Because we would go out to eat, and then we would go to the club. Or we would go to the club, and then we'll go out to eat, whatever, whatever we felt like doing, But we would go out to the club every weekend, and we would be drinking every weekend. And I remember I would spend between $50 to $100 on drinks every weekend. And that's not including the food that we ate going out. That's not including the outfit that I would buy, going out. So you're talking about a lot of money being spent, man. A lot. And we would do that every weekend. Every weekend. And then I was having trouble like finding a good job in Jacksonville, so I found a job in Tallahassee. So I moved to Tallahassee from Jacksonville in my 20s. Do I need to say more? Yeah, I moved to Tallahassee when I got a job in Tallahassee, and I moved in with my aunt for a little bit. And then my sister, she was going to FSU at the same time. So we worked something out where we could share a townhouse together, and we stayed in there for a while she was going to college and I was going to work. Now, this job that I had, it was really good, and I was making a lot more money. And you know what they say when you make more money? It just shows you more of what you really are. So, with me making more money, I was buying more liquor. And it was so bad, I had the whole top of our refrigerator stocked with liquor, all types. Patron, Hennessy, um, Grey Goose, Wild Turkey, you name it, man. It was on the top of that refrigerator. And it was getting real bad because I was buying a bottle on Friday and it'll be done by Sunday. And I'd do it all over again. Yeah, it was bad. And I believe it got so bad one time, I went out with my coworkers and we was drinking at a bar and I was killing them shots, killing them. And it got so bad that I stood up and I don't remember nothing else after that. I don't remember anything after that. All I remember was I woke up to the sun shining in my face and I looked around and I was in my car and I was still in the parking lot of the bar. I was in the bar's parking lot and I was the only car there. And I was like, what in the world happened? You know? And I called one of my coworkers, man. I said, hey, man, what happened last night? Because I woke up in my car and that's all I remember. He was like, yeah, man, you just stood up and you walked straight out the door. And I was like, what? So apparently I stood up, walked straight out the door and got in my car and went to sleep. That's what had to happen because I don't remember nothing else. And I remember that the doors were locked. My car doors were locked, so I had enough sense to lock the doors. But that's all I remember, man. So I believe I was drinking Wild Turkey that night, and I didn't drink Wild Turkey no more since then. Nope, not at all. So if you show me a bottle of Wild Turkey, I'll probably be like that lady on Maury with them olives.
Bring out the olives!
Don't show me a bottle of Wild Turkey, okay? Don't do it. So even after that, I'm still living in Tallahassee and still drinking, having a good time, clubbing and everything else. Most of my coworkers were clubbers, so I was still clubbing, still going out during that time. And this was at the beginning of my DJ career. So I'm DJing. I was DJing in Jacksonville. I moved to Tallahassee and I started DJing in Tallahassee. So I started hanging with other DJs in Tallahassee, seeing how they get down. So I'm going to their parties too, on top of going to the club. So all that's happening at the same time. And I'm just having a good time doing what I do. Still going to work, still doing what I'm supposed to do, but at the same time drinking like crazy. But the Lord saw fit for me to meet someone in Jacksonville. And I started talking to this nice young lady. And we started talking and then we fell in love and all that kind of stuff. So while me being in Tallahassee, I wound up talking to this lady. That's not my wife, but we decided to get married. So I moved back to Jacksonville and we got married. So still drinking. But it wasn't as bad as it was when I was in Tallahassee, but you know, still doing my thing with drinking. And continued to do it over the years. And at one point it was getting really bad to the point I had to have a drink when I come home from work. whether it's a hard drink or wine or beer or something. I had to have something. And I was drinking like almost every day, at least one to two glasses of uh, bottles of beer, you know. But having those drinks and just feeling like I had to have a drink, like that craving, and I'm just like, man, this is wild. This is wild. So I will continue to do that, but then I started to back off of it a little bit. But I always had a bottle in the house, always had a drink or two. And then my first son came along, and then I felt some type of way about it. And I was like, okay, I got to calm down a little bit at least. So I started to calm down a little bit with the drinking. Still had a bottle, here and there. Put the bottle in the pantry, like far away where nobody can see it. It's still there. And I still crack it open, when he go to bed and stuff. So it's not, I'm still drinking, ain't nothing changed. So still doing that. Now, the turning point, for me was when my wife got pregnant with my second child. I'm still drinking, but this particular night, I was DJing a party or an event, and she was there. And, she was moving around and stuff because she was a part of, like making sure everything was getting done for the event. So I'm the DJ of the event, and I'm drinking at the event. I've already had like 2 or 3 drinks already and DJing, having a good old time. But the turning point for me was I decided to text my wife to bring me a drink. And she got up and went and got the drink and brought it to me. But in that moment of her bringing it to me, I heard a voice in my head say, "Really, bruh? Really? You text your pregnant wife to get up and bring you a drink?" And that rocked me in that moment. And I was like, you know what? This is getting out of control. That was my turning point right there. The fact that I asked my pregnant wife to go and bring me a drink. So on that night, after that, I said, I got to break this, and I got to break this now. Because this is getting out of control, way out of control. So what I decided to do was to stop drinking for at least 90 days or 3 months. Just no alcohol whatsoever. And what I did within those 3 months was I read up on how alcohol affects the body and affects your system. So let's talk about that. All right, so let's break down alcohol and how it affects the body. Now, alcohol is also known as ethanol. And ethanol is a psychoactive substance that depresses the nervous system. And ethanol is made up of the fermentation of grains, vegetables, or fruit sugars. So ethanol is something that the body cannot digest on its own. So what it has to do is take the ethanol and break it down with enzymes within the liver. So when you drink this ethanol, also known as alcohol, it goes to your liver, and the liver breaks it down with the enzymes that's inside of it. So the first process is it breaks down the ethanol into what they call acetaldehyde. And acetaldehyde is a known carcinogen that can produce cancer. Yep. And the way that it produces cancer is it's it starts to kill off your DNA. And DNA is a molecule that helps the cells in your body reproduce itself, regrow itself, and repair itself. So without those cells being healthy and being able to do those things, it makes room for cancer to grow. Now, I don't know if you know this, but we all have cancer cells living on the inside of us 24/7. The way we get cancer is when it has room to develop at massive amounts and a massive rate. That's how you get cancer. But we all have cancer cells inside of us. But things like our DNA, that molecule, helps fight off those cancer cells. So it is very important for us to have that. And when we do things like drink alcohol, it's killing off our good cells, pretty much. So that is how you can develop cancer. Now, this carcinogen that I just mentioned called acetaldehyde, it is quickly broken down to something else called acetate. And then that acetate is broken down again throughout other tissues in our bodies that turn it into carbon dioxide and water. And then it's expelled out of us through urine and stuff like that. So it's quite of a bit of a process, guys. And it is said that it takes between 12 to 24 hours for you to completely release alcohol within your body. So when you decide to have multiple drinks at a time and back-to-back days of you having multiple drinks at a time, you're not giving your body enough time to process all of this alcohol or ethanol that you are consuming. So when you do that and you're not giving your body enough time to break it down, it's just going to stay in your system a lot longer. And that's going to give this ethanol or acetaldehyde more time to do more damage in your body. And the liver is not the only organ that takes the hit. Other tissues are your brain, your liver, your esophagus, your stomach. Like those other tissues actually do more work as well, trying to get rid of this ethanol that's in your body. So whatever the liver doesn't handle, those tissues handle as well. But that also means that those tissues are able to get cancer as well, which you can. You can get brain cancer, you can get stomach cancer, you can get throat cancer, which is your esophagus. So this is why ethanol or alcohol is a pretty big deal that we don't talk about. So when you're having these drinking sessions, you need to think twice about that because it takes a while for that ethanol to get out of your body. And you want to be aware of that the next time you go out drinking. And then I also found out that alcohol also causes long-term health risks like high blood pressure, heart disease, liver disease, stroke, digestive issues, and it also weakens your immune system. So it does all these things that we don't talk about. And it blew me away. It blew me away. And I'm reading all this stuff, and I wanted to find a audio book that I could listen to help me get off of alcohol, like just something to motivate me to do it, right? So I ran across this book called Alcohol Lied to Me by Craig Beck. I purchased the book on Audible, and started to listen to it. I listened to it on my way to work and on my way home. And I was listening to it, and he's talking, he's telling these stories, but at the same time, he's saying the same thing over and over again. And I didn't catch it at first because he was telling these stories in between, and I'm getting into the story, but at the same time, he's saying the same thing over and over again. And sometimes he'll say it in a different way, but he'll bring it back some kind of way and say the same thing. And I'm listening to it. I'm listening to the whole book, man. And even though I thought this was very silly to listen to, I'm still listening to it. And I listened to the whole book. I did. And I finished the book. And I'm going through the 90 days. And the 90 days were up around the same time I finished the book. And I was doing good. Wasn't drinking, wasn't doing any of that, right? But then maybe I want to say 2 or 3 weeks after my 90-day vow, I had a drink. And that was probably the worst thing I could have done. My head was throbbing so hard. And I was like, God, Lee. And I had to take some Motrin and stuff, to get that headache away, man, because that was rough. And that was the first drink I had after my 90 days, right? And I want to say a little while after that, a week or so after that, I had another drink. Same thing. Head throbbing. And I believe the first drink I had was liquor, but then the second time was just a beer. Just one beer. The whole left side of my head was throbbing. I said, what is going on? I never dealt with that before. Never. Off of one drink? Come on, man. And then a beer on top of that? No, bro. So I started just playing the book back, and I started to read about the author. I read about him. I read that it says that he is a well-known hypnotist. I said, I'd be doggone. Am I hypnotized? This joker done hypnotized me? What is going on, what is going I never felt like that where I could not have a drink, man. And I was like, this dude done hypnotized me. This is what he done did to me. And I was like, wow. So ever since then, ever since I've listened to that book, I've never been able to drink like I used to. Never. To this day, I have a few drinks and I'm like, I can't drink no more. I could feel it coming on. So whatever happened between me reading that book, hey man, like I say, don't knock it till you try it. Cause I was not looking for that. I just wanted to read the book because I liked the title. That was it. I wanted to see what the book was about. Next thing I know, I'm hypnotized. Oh man. But he also has a book called The Mindset of a Millionaire. I picked that book up quick. If you're going to hypnotize me on that. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, that was Alcohol Lied to Me by Craig Beck. So if you want to try that out, hey, by all means, it wouldn't hurt. But yeah, man, those are the top two things I did, man. The top two. So before I go any further, I got to take a pause for the cause and give you one scripture. And that is Romans 8, verse 6. And it says, the mind governed by the flesh is death, but the mind governed by the spirit is life and peace. And that is what I feel like I'm experiencing right now. Life and peace. Because there are a lot of benefits that come from not drinking alcohol. And one of those things is not having hangovers. I don't have any more hangovers. I'm not spending half of the day just trying to get over a hangover and, having brain fog and your brain is fuzzy and you're trying to shake that off. You're not spending half of the day or most of the day trying to get off of the hangover that you had from last night. And that alone is a very great benefit. Not only that, I don't have to take Motrin like I used to. Man, and how crazy is that? We go out, we drink alcohol, and then we have to go back around and take another substance to get rid of the hangover from the alcohol. Like you just going in a cycle, man. Like you taking two chemicals, two substances that you don't even need to be taking. So I can't even tell you the last time I took a Motrin. So I am so happy about that alone. And yeah, I can't do nothing but thank God on that one, man. So that alone, man, just no more hangovers and no more spending money on Motrin. Yeah. The other thing is I've lost quite a bit of weight. I know some people have asked me, "Have you lost weight? Have you lost weight?" Yeah, yeah, I have. I have. Um, while I was drinking, I was averaging around 175 to 180 on average, and that's from me eating and drinking. But since I've stopped drinking or slowed down drinking, it has dropped down to 160 to 165. So I know it was around 168 on the heavy side. So when I'm really getting down on some food, it'll jump up to 168, but it'll average around 165 for the most part. So I done lost about 10 pounds just from doing that. So that's crazy. So yeah, man, losing weight is one of them. So the other thing I recognized was my energy levels have gone through the roof. Like I have so much energy right now that is crazy. Like right now, I'm talking to you and recording this video right now. It is 2:30 in the morning. And I am talking to you like it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. My energy levels are through the roof. And not only that, like my brain production level is crazy. Like I'm constantly thinking of stuff and thinking of creative things that I could possibly do. And my cognitive functions are crazy. Like I'm always thinking of stuff, always trying to do things that I visualize. And if you remember the video I did on cell phones and how that affects your cognitive functions, and now we talking about alcohol, come on, man. Like this world is wild. Like we have so many things that try to attack our brain. So with that being said, man, like since I've stopped drinking as much as I used to, my brain has been lit. Like, and I'm just talking about the fire that's in me, like the drive that's in me. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. So that's what I recognized when I stopped drinking so much. So after being hypnotized and learning the benefits of not drinking, I continue to push forward and continue to focus on not drinking in general. And there are a couple of things that I do to make sure I stay on the path of sobriety and also on the road to recovery. Because you're talking about drinking over 20 some odd years. So I know for a fact that I've done some damage to this body. So I want to help my body recover from all that drinking. So these are some things that I do. The first thing that I do is I'm very big on teas right now. I drink a lot of teas because they have teas for everything. They have teas to help you go to sleep. They have teas to help you get more energy. And they have teas to help you relieve stress. They have teas for everything. So teas are my thing. I love teas. So that's the first thing. The second thing is sleep. You need to get some sleep to help you recover. You need to get some sleep in general. So sleep is another thing. So make sure you go to bed. So go to bed. So the last thing that I want to share with you guys that helps me on the road to recovery from alcohol is I use a very good multivitamin called Vitamode. And like I said, it's a multivitamin, but what makes this one great is it has a built-in B complex multivitamin. So what that is, it has all the B vitamins built inside of it. And normally you would have to buy that separately. So you would have to buy a B complex multivitamin that just has all the B vitamins, which you can if you don't want to get Vitamode. So if you're just worried about getting a B complex, then I would recommend getting a B complex multivitamin that has all the B vitamins, because you need that to help your bodily functions repair itself and get better, you know? So I do recommend getting a B complex multivitamin or trying Vitamode. And Vitamode, they do have a male version and a female version. So they have one for men and women. So definitely look into that because you need a good multivitamin. The other supplements you may need to look into is vitamin C. If you don't have a multivitamin that has vitamin C in it, so make sure that you get some vitamin C. And you also want to look into getting some omega-3 fish oil. You need to try that out because, like I told you guys before, that acetaldehyde, it gets in your liver and it also gets in your brain. And when it gets in your brain, it starts to kill off the neurons in your brain. So now we need to repair your brain and help your brain get back to its full potential. So that's what the fish oil does. It helps your brain repair itself. So look into some good old fish oil to put in your cabinet and use. So look into some fish oil, some vitamin C, and a good multivitamin that may have B complex, or get some B complex vitamins. All right? So look into that. So those are the things that I do to fight the temptation to drink alcohol. Now, with everything that I've told you so far, and with everything that I've learned about drinking alcohol, I still have these thoughts in my mind on whether I should stop drinking alcohol altogether or take a break from it, or like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And with everything I done told you, you should know, or I should know the answer, right? Because like my boy Craig Beck says in his book, it's nothing but poison packaged in a pretty bottle. I know that for a fact, but yet I still sit here and look you in this camera and say, I don't know what I'm going to do as far as for drinking, whether I'm going to stop or not. And when I say that, I think about this scripture, Romans chapter 7, verses 21 through 23. So I find this law at work, although I want to do good, evil is right there with me. For in my inner being I delight in God's law, but I see another law at work in me, waging war against the law of my mind and making me a prisoner of the law of sin at work within me. So what I got out of those verses and what I got out of Romans 7, the full chapter of Romans 7, which I highly recommend that you read in your spare time, is life is a constant battle. And it's a constant battle within your mind. So, like I said, with everything that we know about alcohol now, it's still going to play in your mind. You're still going to be fighting on whether you should have a drink or whether you're going to drink or not when you go out and all of these things. But you have to remember that this is a journey. You're not going to go cold turkey overnight. And you're not going to last for a very long time. Like I told you, the longest I've gone is 3 months. That's the longest I've ever gone without a drink. And Besides that, it's been a week, maybe 2 weeks, tops. But I have gone a month. I'll take that back because we'll fast, and I'll do the fast. I will do the fast, so I can last a month. But after that, I'm back at it. But um, just remembering that this is not easy. This is a constant battle that you have to fight each and every day. And kudos to the people that didn't drink while they was growing up, or didn't fall into the trap of drinking. But there are some of us that went down that road, and now we're paying the price for it. But the good news is you can fight back, you can overcome, and you can recover. And that is something that you need to focus on right now in this moment. So as we bring this video to a close, I want to drop one more scripture on you, and that's Romans 7, verse 25. And it says, "Thanks be to God who delivers me through Jesus Christ our Lord. So then I myself, in my mind, am a slave to God's law, but in my sinful nature, a slave to the law of sin." So what that scripture is basically saying is, even though your mind is focused on the things of God and focused on God's law, your sinful nature, or your fleshly nature, is still focused on the laws of sin. And that goes back to what we were saying earlier about it's a constant battle that you have within yourself. So what I do is I focus on things that I want more than a glass of alcohol. And a couple of those things is like, I want to have more energy, and I want to keep having more energy throughout the day and throughout the days of the week. So I don't want to have a drink and be hungover the day after. So that's one thing. And on top of that, I keep on my mind what alcohol really is in black and white. And that is, alcohol is nothing but a poison packaged in a pretty bottle. And I keep that on my mind so I can keep it moving. And that seems to help. Just something quick on your mind to help to remind yourself that you don't need to drink that. It is nothing healthy about drinking alcohol, no matter what they tell you. Alcohol is alcohol, and poison is poison. You don't need to drink it for nothing. So that helps me each and every day. And the other thing is, in my family, on both sides of my family have a heavy drinking problem. And I saw that growing up, as a kid, as a teenager, and even in my early adult years, watching it take a toll on my family. To the point I have lost 2 family members due to alcohol. And that took a toll on me really bad when it happened. And I pray to God that that didn't happen to anybody else in my family, including myself. And even though I still drank, that still played in the back of my mind. And I was like, I don't know when, but I got to break this, man. I got to break it. So I finally stepped up and said, you know what? Why don't I just be a solution and not be a part of the problem? So that's my goal, is to be the solution and not a part of the problem. And set an example, not only for my family, but just for people around me in general. Because if somebody see you living your best life and stuff like that, and you don't drink, people like, hey, you don't drink? Really? Okay. And you never know what people may be going through. You may spark a conversation about sobriety. And you may Save somebody's life just by setting an example. Speaking of setting an example, to all my brothers and sisters, all my black brothers and sisters, I feel that we definitely need to stop drinking, or at least calm it down a lot. A lot. And the reason I'm saying this to you is because, growing up in the hood, what you always saw. You always saw a liquor store or a gun store within a 1 mile radius. And that is something that we need to break, because being that I started drinking around, early 20s to now, I realized that I missed out on a whole lot of things that I could have been doing with that money, and just with my life in general, with my thinking. Like I told you, man, it just felt like your brain is in a constant state of fog. Like it's not thinking about anything, it's not doing anything. You're just here. And that's because you're constantly under this substance, under this chemical that you're drinking. And we don't see it like that because of what society has painted it to be, and it's not. It is a drug, and it's just accepted by society. That's it. We frown upon crack and all this other stuff, but alcohol need to be up there too. And I will say this, as time goes on, I do feel like alcohol will be like cigarettes. Like people will look at you like, you still do that? Really? I do feel like it's going to get to that point, but for right now, man, like people still think it's cool to do, and it's not. It's not, man. Like we missing out on a lot of stuff. And I brought us up because we are very, very creative beings. We are. And I feel like alcohol is killing that. And it's dumbing us down. And like I told you before, alcohol kills your neurons in your brain, and it kills your cognitive functions. And so do cell phones. So you add on cell phones and alcohol, and you wonder why people are walking around confused and doing silly stuff all the time. They ain't got no sense. And they don't. Like seriously, because of all the stuff that we do and consume, and it's killing us slowly. And they not gonna tell us that, the government or nobody gonna tell us that, because they making money off that stuff. It's up to us. It is up to us to take control of our lives. So my king and queens, let's please think twice before we take another drink, because we could do a lot with our lives if we turn down the alcohol. And I'm right there with you. Trust me. I am right there with you. So that is where I'm going to end it at, because this video is getting extremely long. But if you guys want to talk about it some more, put your questions, put your comments in the comments, and we can talk about it some more. We can definitely talk about it some more, man, because we are here to break generational curses. We are here to break strongholds. And Jesus is going to win this year. He is. God is going to win this year. Yes, he is. Because we need him like never before. So I pray that you watch this video as much as you need to watch it. And like I said, if you got anything that you want to share, please put it in the comments and we can talk about it, all right? And I'm going to see you on the next video. Peace.